profile live, and let's get this party started. All right, let me get my Amazon link up for everybody. So I think everything is starting up now. So let's get everything pinned. It can take me just a minute here, guys. I got 3 different platforms trying to load up. We're triple streaming here. So it looks like everybody is live. Yeah, I think we're good. All right. Hey, everybody. It's Jason Blaha here, just getting my morning cardio done. We already did a 5K this morning, fasted. I just want to get a little time in on the bike. Obviously, I like to do this every day too, get a nice stream going, talk to all my audience on my different platforms, and just, again, chat with everyone, do Q&As while I put in some really easy list cardio on the bike, because I do 3 different intensities of cardio, obviously. You know, for those who follow, you guys know at the end of my lifting sessions, I go do really intense cardio on the sled, right? We push the prowler down the street. I tend to do, right now I'm running, just trying to do a 5K 4 times a week on average is what I'm doing now. I'm running a little more, backed it off just a hair. And then I try to do, roughly an hour of just really easy list cardio on my bike every day while streaming with everybody. So again, and if possible, I try to stream it on YouTube, my Facebook fitness page, and I throw some up on my profile just to keep some lives there, because it's, good for outreach, good for my audience. So probably need to put this in the community tab too, so we get a little more activity here. So again, because the YouTube's starting off a little slow, we had pretty good views on the run, right? The run this morning did really good, I think. So these later ones on the bike, they don't always do as well, unfortunately. I don't know why it just doesn't reach people's feeds to the same degree. There we go. I just put it in the community tab. The views started coming up. So again, once people get in here, we'll get some Q&As going. Hopefully we'll get some good questions, some good comments. And that's the general plan. That's the hope, right? And they usually get pretty lively once people get in here, though, of course. Then we get plenty of stuff happening. So, yeah. Post there myself, that helps. Okay. Oops. So we've got a community tab post for the YouTube. And, yeah, let's get a few more people in. We got some likes coming in, so at least I know there's people in here on the YouTube. Only 3 minutes in. Give everyone a few minutes to get in, and again, hopefully get some lively and good conversations happening. The Nippert video did okay the other day. I thought it might pull a little more traction, but it doesn't have to. Not a big deal. Tomorrow's going to be busier. I don't know how many lives I'm going to be able to squeeze in. I got a number of calls I have to do. Consultation, new client intake. Speaking of which, guys, I have coaching slots open. This is not a problem. So anyone who needs coaching, you need a consultation, hit me up. So far I have 2 scheduled coming up, and then a client intake. So it's going to be a pretty good weekend with all that. But definitely have room for more calls. You guys saw the updated picture too of, so I had some people say, we haven't seen any changes. I had a few people say that. And I'm like, well, what do you guys mean? Like, that's 4 months apart, and I'm definitely leaner. I'm even wearing a different belt. That belt I have on in the second one, I physically could not put it on back then. Right, my size medium Inzer belt would not fit. So, yeah, all that's coming along pretty well, I think. All right, it's coming along pretty well. But, I'm just going to keep trending down. I feel like with the running, and now that I've got the running on point, and now that I'm going back on just full bro dieting, now that I'm used to the running, we'll start seeing the scale continue to come down. It went down another pound, right? Feed Me says, what if someone ate lots of white rice but didn't really get enough fiber? Would it affect blood sugar? I don't have enough variables, Feed Me. How fat are they? How much insulin resistance do they have? And do they train? Makes sense. There is some fiber in white rice. Are you talking eating no vegetables? Well, you're going to be unhealthy just because of lack of vegetables in your diet. You're pretty much effed. But the problem is you're asking too vague of a question. Your lifestyle matters. Are you talking about an athletic person? And define affect blood sugar. Obviously, it affects blood sugar. Carbohydrates affect blood sugar. Everything affects blood sugar. Now, me, I eat plenty of veggies, like cucumbers, potatoes. But do you see the problem with your question? I need details on the person. And what do you mean by affect blood sugars? Everything you eat affects blood sugar. So I feel like your question is you're not, I don't see exactly, I think I know the direction you're going with the question, but let's get it very specific. Are you asking, does white rice cause insulin resistance? Doesn't really appear to be the case, no. So is that what we're asking? I mean, which demographic of dieters have the highest fasting blood sugar out of all the various fad diets? Keto dieters. High saturated fat keto dieters have insanely high blood sugar. Look at Dr. Sean Baker's blood sugar. Kind of see the direction we're going with this. Generally speaking, though, if you're talking about people who work out, because I don't care about sedentary people. Like, we shouldn't even have these conversations about sedentary people. You know, you get this when people say, well, the diet you promote only works for people who work out. And it's like, well, you're not going to be healthy if you don't work out. So why are we even having the conversation? Usually be my reply. You clearly don't care about your health if you don't exercise. So that doesn't work. But even then, back over to the other point, a couple of points there, Feed Me. Since you're the only one asking, I'm going to jump into a lot of details. Someone who lifts weights and does cardio and is at a healthy athletic body fat, who doesn't maybe get enough fiber, and they live on white rice, their blood sugar tends to be pretty normal still. Not my opinion, that's what the data shows. It may not be ideal, but because they have a high insulin sensitivity due to being reasonably lean and a lot of muscle and they're active, it doesn't create problems, even though it may not be optimal without enough fiber. But if you mean a sedentary person, the fact that they're sedentary is the problem, not the white rice. Their blood sugar would be higher if they did a, all bacon diet than it would be on the white rice. They'd still have a higher blood sugar. But you have to eat something, but generally not. So let's take it over to the other level. How about something like Dr. McDougall? Remember Dr. McDougall curing all those people of their type 2 diabetes, getting them off the meds? Thousands of patients. They ate nothing but starches almost. And they ate plenty of white rice and potatoes and everything, right? What happened? These weren't even athletes. These were not fit athletic people. These were type 2 diabetics. He had plenty of them. He did that, and their blood sugar got normal, and he got most of them off insulin. Eventually, just on a starch-based diet. Why? Because he removed all the refined sugar and all the fat. So, and as much as I would say healthy fats are beneficial, I don't think people who are non-athletic should be eating healthy fats in significant amounts. That is food for athletes. Like, I would argue people who are not training hard really should just be eating carbs and protein. Really, they should be avoiding fat. Healthy fats are really for people who have a high energy output. I mean, he gained weight pretty fast. He exceeded a pound a month, but he started super lean. And I think that's the difference. Keep in mind, he gained fat. That was his choice. Let me be clear, that wasn't me telling him to gain it that fast. That's the choice he chose to make. But as his coach, I'm still going to document it because I've done all the training on the programming side. So, but yeah, back over to the thing with Dr. McDougall. He just took all the fat out of their diet and all the refined sugars out of their diet. And just had them hammer starch, and most of those patients got off insulin. And that's been a pretty successful strategy for diabetes management. Once you remove all the refined sugars and all the fat, type 2 diabetes tends to eventually go into remission. Adding healthy fats in, again, I always say it's for people who need the calories and the healthy fat benefit. Like if you're not lifting weights and doing cardio regularly, you shouldn't be thinking, hey, should I add fats to my diet? Probably not wise. You should just live on carbs. You're going to be more sedentary. But you need to be training. Everyone should, right? So that's the point I make with healthy fats. I don't have people add healthy fats in unless they need them, right? So people who train hard enough to need the inflammation control and the calorie density. So yeah, that's a highly successful strategy. So even the white rice works in that case. So I mean, it's kind of hard for people to argue against that when you have all these documented cases where literally guys like Dr. McDougall cured all these patients of their type 2 diabetes, at least putting in remission enough. Well, they ate tons of white rice. And it's fairly standardized in the medical world if you want to get the patients off their meds. Marcinio, I don't have time to go look his sheet up. You know what I mean, dude? Hello, Jane. She's chiming in on the Facebook profile. Do we have anyone on the fitness page? Nobody yet. So, Jane, if you don't know what I do here, I'm triple streaming on all my platforms. I'm a fitness YouTuber and Facebook guy and coach by profession. Even though you're on here for the comedy stuff, I'm a strength and conditioning coach by profession. I just post a lot of really funny stuff on my profile because I'm funny looking. I might as well be funny. But I stream on here too, just for my audience. I get a bunch of people who follow me there for all the jokes and the memes. For those who are unaware, my fitness people don't know I'm a meme lord. You guys think of me as, crazy Coach Blaha. People on my profile think of me as a meme lord who makes 15,000 ridiculously stupid memes because I have a twisted sense of humor, as most of you realize at this point. Right? Sane people don't say, hey, I'm going to squat 600 pounds in my 40s. It's already a mark that something's off a little bit. Old PA Sam says, what percentage of your clients run full body splits? Probably 40% ballpark. Coach, what is the best way to return to training after not training for 2 years, but my base on your 5x5 in the past? I'd go back to a 5x5. Yeah, you can rebuild on a 5x5 for at least a little while. You're not going to want to stay on it long. It's going to be too aggressive of progression. So any sort of linear progression 5x5 it'll be okay for a couple months. Probably if you've been at pretty good numbers historically, about the 3-month mark, it's going to be too aggressive, right? It's going to be a little too aggressive at that point. Says me. All right, that's probably enough for the profile for today. I'm going to wind this down and get a little short, get a reel out of it. So love you guys over here. But I'm still on the Facebook fitness page and YouTube if you guys want to chime in there. Luke says, thanks. Do you think you can cut to 190 and also return to a 500 squat at the same time? I have to believe that I can. Am I saying that's going to be easy? Yeah, it'll be easy. I have to lie to myself and say it'll be easy. We already know it'll be pretty hard, but sometimes we have to self-program and say, dude, piece of cake. It'd be the easiest thing I ever did in my life. All right? That's how we have to be. Is that a fair answer? So that's the problem you guys have when you ask me some questions. You want me to be honest, or do you want me to tell the lie that I need to tell myself to achieve it? So you want my self-programming answer, or do you want, is that what you mean? I am focused back on my cut because I wanted to get my running up. I wanted to get fitter. So in order to get used to the running without overtraining and injuring myself, I had to bump my fat calories back up for a few weeks. Okay. Now that I am adapted to the running and the run time is doing better and I'm used to doing it, I'm now easing back into the cut, which is why I'm down to 209 now. Make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Because realistically, performance athletic Blaha makes more money on top of I enjoy doing it. But no, but I do need to continue to get leaner. Absolutely agree. We do need to get under 200 pounds. So all I did is shift the timeline a little bit. The goal didn't change. It's just looking at I wanted to do the fitter stuff, and this stuff has to be done in sequence. You have to chip away at things. You can only bite off so much. None of us are superhumans. We're not. Nobody. Okay? You have to undertake these things in bite-sized chunks. All right, feed me. So if someone got down to 10% body fat, they gained super slowly and slowly made progress in the gym, they will stay at 10%. I always thought that was not. Sure they will. It's just going to be very slow. So feed me. Look at it this way. Let's say you've been training several years and you're only capable of gaining 2 or 3 pounds of muscle per year at that point, right? So of course you could do it. It's just going to be slow because that's all the muscle you're going to gain. So if you want to only gain the muscle without the fat, you're not going to be able to gain weight faster than your body is capable of gaining muscle. Ken Shiro called all the local gyms, asked if they reverse hyper so far. None of them do. Sorry to hear that, man. Found reverse hyper. What? Okay, Ken Shiro, what country do you live in? Because that ladder doesn't make sense. Because I can go right now, I could find 17 different reverse hypers in 5 minutes on the internet that could be shipped to your house in the United States. And some of them will hold 800 pounds. I've never seen one that low. Even the Rogue Scout Hyper that folds up and goes in the corner will handle 300. So what country do you live in? If you're going to be something like Zimbabwe or something, I get it. But, Feed Me says, yeah, I got one on eBay and it's holding 650 just fine, right? I've never heard one that low. So he must be like somewhere really out there, like Zimbabwe or something. Yeah, Daniel, because I want to keep focusing on performance too. No, I want to get my run times better. I want to keep the strength up. So I want to be all around athletic and well-rounded, which we're doing. I'm getting better at running. I'm getting some good benching in while continuing to chip away at the body fat. So what I'm doing, Daniel, is I'm literally walking the walk of what I tell people they should do. Right? Not talking the talk, we are literally doing it about well-rounded fitness. So as I continue to get leaner, keep chipping away at the body fat, we want to keep chasing all this various performance, a variety of well-rounded fitness goals. Right? You don't think that's a good approach? Even 176 kilograms would have to be this little Scout Hyper that folds up. So I want to know what country Ken Shiro lives in so that we have a context. So, all right, we want a context for it. Hey, Daniel, my thing would be, man, just try to keep up with all the vlogs, dude. We break it all down, man. I know you might be out of the loop and not understanding as we change and adjust, but the thing is, it's all about being well-rounded. It really is at this point. We need to be fit. We need to be healthy. We need to be athletic. We need to be strong, lean, all these things. Or else we don't have the right to put the word fitness in our tags. You know, no business being there. So again, it's simply me, walking the walk and not being a hypocrite. That's all it comes down to. Something none of my critics and detractors can claim for themselves. Right? So yeah, we're going to keep working on that. We're going to get under 200. My goal is to squat 500 to get it under 200, get good run times, hit all this stuff. Hey, Daniel, and you know what? You don't necessarily know what my main focus is. And I will get lean with what I'm doing. But we also can't start running again and stay in some sort of deep calorie deficit. You do know that, right? You do realize that would be injury waiting to happen at my age. So are we going to get lean and fit if I start tearing stuff or have out of control inflammation? No. So again, if I want to run, I needed to ease up off the deficit for a bit, adapt to the running. Now we ease back into a deficit and use the running to burn more calories. Adjust the diet again. We have to adapt to these things. But people really do care what people lift. You know what? And here's what I'm going to say. If that wasn't true, then how come when I was at my strongest, my coaching was making $100,000 a year? I'm going to disagree. I didn't even need my YouTube income at all. Several years ago when my coaching was really doing well. So I think people do care about how strong you are. So you notice Kenshiro still didn't tell us what country he's in. Good job, Glover. Thank you, Peppermint. Because Kenshiro, I tried to help you and I asked you 3 times what country do you live in, and you still didn't answer. No, it picked up after the lockdowns the most. I mean, yeah, no. So you're talking about the foldable one made by Rogue. It's 300 pounds. I know for a fact because I've seen this bread on it, and I've had 3 clients who bought one. So I'm very familiar with the stats on it. All right. Have you, hey, Cajun? No, I didn't even know that's a sport. Why would I care? No, I haven't considered it at all. Hey, Cajun, have you considered competing in speed walking? And that coach, hypothetically, if someone trained for 5 years and didn't gain any weight, stayed at 130 pounds, what? Matt, I need context. Are you talking about a 5'2" woman? So you're asking non-specifics. You're talking about a 5'2" woman, correct? For reference, how much weight would a 500-pound deadlift need on a reverse hyper for work sets and not just restoration? I don't know because every reverse hyper is different, and it's going to depend on how much swing you have. Old PSM, I do not have an answer. And I don't think anyone's going to be able to give you one. Okay. Back in the corner. Jason, have you heard about a trend product that was sold at GNC became popular with high school? No, I haven't. Any which began lactating. Yeah, the supplemented, all those pro hormones were like that. It was a reoccurring problem where they weren't outlawed yet, so they were selling them, and dudes had all sorts of issues. Yeah. So all those various pro hormones, which are objectively generally less safe and more problematic than real steroids. Yeah. Yeah, same idea. No, the supplement industry is known for its horrible ethics. Like, you don't become a supplement company because you have good ethics. It is by default a shady industry, right? It's been repeatedly been caught in the scams and lies and nonsense. So it's kind of like we're at a point where, anyone who believes the supplement industry in general, I don't know what to tell them. It's just like, that it's an industry built on scams and hurting people and lies already. Yeah. How long should I give my arm training before I reevaluate my approach? I'm getting enough protein. They just aren't growing. I don't know, Daniel. You may be overtraining them. You may want to back down. So you think Jeff Nippard really messed up? I think he did big time. Nathaniel says, I can't believe you do all that running in slow work barefoot. My feet would be up blisters and would be on fire for the pavement. I mean, there was some adaptation, and there's still some definitely a little bit of fatigue on the soles, but they've gotten tougher real fast. Right? It's insane that drugs are being called supplements and therefore do not require FDA approval. People call Turk a freaking supplement, because people need to eat the leaf, right? Yeah, again, the supplement industry is unscrupulous. Now that my body has adjusted to full body, I find it quite enjoyable. There you go, old Sam. How many sets lever do you right now? Just one. Sometimes I was doing more. One good pass at the end of a workout is enough. Because keep in mind, we've already lifted. We've done all the jumping. Then we've done squatting. That one round is plenty. So since you see one round in the workouts, why would you assume I'm doing anything but one round? Hey, Daniel, I don't have an answer for you, dude. Right? We don't have anywhere near. We need to work consultation level. Daniel, if you would like to sign up for a consultation, I'll be happy to look at everything you're doing and help you assess. Dingleberry, I'm older than you, Dingle. I don't play any video games anymore. Or glutton. I've been saying for years, I think video games are generally unproductive for men. I'm generally less productive and everything else when I play them. So I haven't played video games in years. And I have no desire to do so. I tell men in general should probably avoid them. What are your thoughts about the importance of changing exercises up over time for adaptation? It's purely about overuse. It's really is the main factor, honestly. Right? Psychological benefit and overuse are your concerns. If those are not concerns, there's no actual need. Do you think limb link surgery is worth it? No. Dingleberry, I think that you need to talk to a therapist instead of worrying about a limb link surgery. I think it's insane. I think the idea is absolutely insane. And I think that you're better off getting on some sort of medication than you are getting a limb link surgery. If it's that bad, you need therapy and medication. Thanks for your insights. That is essentially what I found. Mm. Mm. You ever read the book Born to Run, Coach? No. It's all about barefoot running. It's all about the Mexican tribe that can run insane distances. No, I haven't read it yet. Yeah, Dingleberry, I'm not going to continue to entertain the mental illness you're displaying here, so I'm not going to answer the questions. I think that you should talk to a therapist. Verblutton, I still can walk and ride a bike, just can't lift. We'll get out and get some activity in, man. Luke says, I take 2 weeks off. I wouldn't every 6 months for psychological reasons, a vacation of sorts. No, I think you should train every week, even on vacation. Do something. Just me personally. Does a squat build muscle everywhere? To some extent, yeah. To some extent. Maybe not your biceps, but most of your body, yeah. Are you missing out a lot if you drop squats? Yes. Yes, Dingleberry. You need to squat. I'm going to need to. No, Jack. Why would you even ask that? I'm literally just on a replacement dose of test, Jack. And we don't do gear talk at all when streaming on Facebook also. Hey, Dingleberry. Now you're discussing not doing squats on top of all this crazy stuff with limb lengthening surgeries. I don't know that my channel is the right fit for you. Luke, for sure, I appreciate that. I'm still active during that time for fun, swimming and hiking. Just that you do detrain during those times. So when you come back, it's going to have the soreness and the detraining and everything. It's rude to ask someone their medical situation. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but that's on Facebook. If you were deadlifting already, I doubt you're going to get any measurable upper body muscle from squats. No, it's all cumulative. An older person said they gained 10 pounds of water weight from creatine. No, they didn't. And it went to their gut. No, it didn't. Also said they're worried about the extra weight gain, bad for the joints. I think that they need to fix their diet. I think that they ate a bunch of junk food and gained 10 pounds of water. Creatine's not going to do that. So tell that person, stop coping for whatever they did with their diet or whatever Dianabol or something they took. Yeah. Yep. All right. The guy deleted his comment on Facebook. Interesting. That's what I think too. Thanks, Coach. Tell him I said that. I saw what you said about the benefits of lifting for chest. By the way, insulin resistant focus, great call. A lot of older nurses working my NICU have started resistance training for perimenopause relief. Yeah, I can see that. I must have that problem too, about 30 pounds of water weight that went to my gut, right? Is it normal to not feel anything in your legs after heavy low bar squats? No, not really. Luke says it's nice to see it getting more popular, squats and stuff for bone density. Yep. Yeah, James, he's full of BS. Hey, Dingleberry. I'm not answering nonsense like that. We're just done with that. I don't think you take training too seriously, to be honest. Why did you pivot from strength to physique? You're right. Yep. But I still want to be well-rounded, Daniel. But to be fair, when I focused on nothing but strength and powerlifting, my coaching was booming. And it wasn't powerlifters. So that's the funny thing. What does it mean if I don't feel much? It means you're probably not training them very effectively or hard. right? I have never done a heavy squat or deadlift in my life where I didn't feel my legs afterwards. I have never done a heavy deadlift where my quads didn't feel lit. Coach, what are the 3 muscles you would pick to look calm diesel jack? Everything. You need to train everything, all of them, not just 3. Luke said, where you shouldn't put all women in the category anyways, but of a Physique that many bodybuilding males. Yeah, and Luke's right. Okay. A physique that many bodybuilding male enthusiasts would call "do you even lift" is buff to most women. Valid point. No, I think nicotine is not useful, Bocephus. Why are you messing with nicotine? Why do you need this drug? Hey, Dingle, you're just going around in circles with the same questions. Let's hop back over to, I feel like you're nothing but a troll, like trying to get weird stuff. So let's stick to actual real questions that help people, Daniel, or I'm going to need to put you in times out. You have to put the nose in the corner, son. Talking to Daniel, though. Right. Most men who have finished their new gains and aren't fat probably look pretty buff to the average woman. I agree, Sam. I agree. They look buff to the average person, not just average woman. I think people have lost context of what the average person considers to be. How do I put it? They've lost sight of what the average person considers to have a good body. The myopic lenses of the fitness obsessed industry. And keep in mind, most of the people who have this obsession aren't even fit half the time. It's fangirls and fanboys. Greg says, Jason, is Dr. Mike idiotic for using the elliptical core squats? I don't know that he's idiotic for it. I can't say that I would endorse it. It's kind of impact performance. I don't know why he's doing it, But it's not necessarily idiotic. I just don't agree with it. Does a bigger bench equal bigger arms? I mean, in the lab, that generally happens. Has every study that looked at the bench press and hypertrophy seen tricep growth? Yes. Does it mean that a bench press is automatically going to give you crazy jacked bodybuilder arms? No, not necessarily. But objectively speaking, have you ever seen any hypertrophy study on the bench press where the triceps didn't grow? I haven't. So, So objectively speaking, yes, a bigger bench will usually equal bigger arms, but it might not be optimal arms. It might not be winning bodybuilding shows with the arms you get from a bigger bench. Right. Well, Dingleberry, keep progressing. I mean, a 205 for 5 squat and you're in a lighter body weight, it's still pretty light. Those are still new numbers, Luke says, you can become very attractive to most people, including women, in 1 year if you start off reasonably lean. Yeah, that's fair. Right? Yeah, that's true. Greg says, weird how athlete next has bigger arms in general at a genetic strong point, but couldn't bench 275. Well, it's bicep too. He does a lot of curls, a lot of weighted chins. Genetically, his biceps are his best muscle. Makes sense. But he's not big anywhere else. So again, athlete next doesn't have a big chest, for example. He doesn't have big lats, for example. So it kind of makes sense that he doesn't have a big bench. Right. If you have a short torso and longish legs, could I get Dingleberry? Okay. It sounds like you've got a lot of issues with your dysmorphia and your frame that you're obsessed with instead of just focusing on getting bigger and gaining muscle. I think that either you need to talk to a therapist about these weird hangups about your frame. I'm being honest. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trolling you. You need to probably talk to a therapist. It sounds like you have some serious OCD or body image issues regarding your skeleton. I think you could use some therapy for it. Now, all that stuff you're saying completely irrelevant. Get bigger, get stronger. Lift weights, gain muscle progressively, overload. You will get bigger. Peckerman says big arms doesn't mean a big bench. Yeah, exactly. Especially biceps. Using Athlete X as an example, he's big biceps relative to the rest of his body. Well, the biceps are not particularly a primary mover in the bench press. Right. Hey, Daniel, why are we still going on about what guys want to do to impress girls? This is a fitness show. No, women do care, just they care less than guys think they do. I mean, they care about how you look. They care about your body. They don't obsess over it the way that men obsess over women's bodies. But they do care, let's be clear. Yeah, biceps don't bench the weight. They can be an important stabilizer. They can help you a little bit out of the bottom, too, for the little squish. But, triceps will definitely help. All right. Triceps definitely help. Particularly as you get closer to a max. As tricep activation goes up higher relative to pec activation as we get to closer to a 1 rep max. Right? You start getting above 90%, triceps start to play a real big role in your bench. At least off of EMG data we have. Even the long head starts getting involved big time at that point. Ironically, a lot of gay men have much better understanding of what many women care about in men than straight men. Straight men usually give terror. They usually do. Because notice even what Daniel kind of said. Notice he gave the red pill answer. Not saying women don't care about that stuff, but you're talking about not always. Not all women are gold diggers. There are certain traits that women like in men and how they treat them. Here, I'll give you the answer. Let's just give the very brief answer. You know what women care about in their attractiveness to a man? How does he make them feel? Luke, how's that answer? You know what I think the most important thing? How does he make her feel? I think that's at the top of the list. All right. Feed me mortals. If I'm squatting 340 at 160 pounds, do I have the potential for 500? Maybe. Not out of the question. You're going to need to be pretty lean, though. Are there any other old school lifts like the dumbbell pullover that you would recommend about it to my routine? Pullovers are definitely top of that old school. I mean, obviously things like dips, bench press, squats, those are the old school lifts. So, I mean, look at, again, even like I put up that version of super squats. That was a standard old school workout. Squat, pull over, dip, weighted shins or weighted pull-ups. Yeah, done. That was an old school common workout on sometimes 1 day a week or more, Absolutely. Also, if it is a girl that you actually want to be with, you need to be yourself. Bring yourself goes a long way. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. They want you to be authentic. They don't want you to put on an act. because you're going to have to change it later. You have to just be yourself. And I think people understand what I mean by how they make her feel. Do you make her feel safe? Why are most females insecure about their physique waist, but not the overweight ones are? They're insanely insecure. They're claiming that they're not is a projection of their insecurity being manifest. Yeah, the over the top, I don't care, I'm big, I'm beautiful. That's absolutely a coat. And there are definitely exceptions, but usually the over the top, like you're thinking of, it's absolutely a coat. I thought something like that, but it feels mean to think that. Oh, I'm just calling it like it is. But I'm not telling anyone to body shame. I don't think we should body shame people either. You know. But realistically, everyone knows it's unhealthy to be fat. They all know it. They all understand it. You know, we all know this. Again, not telling you to body shame anybody. I don't think we should. Luke says, yeah, you'll need wealth and power to make a woman feel safe. Sometimes that will have the opposite effect too. Yep. They feel secure with their bodies. Yep. I mean, Dingleberry, you ask such off the wall stuff that I don't know how to answer it. Sorry, dude. I mean, I think I don't know how to answer some of your comments. All your comments about cushion shoes in your back and wiggling surgeries. I don't have answers for you, dude. If I'm just going to be honest. So I'm just going to ignore a lot of it. Yeah, I think that's a good point too, Luke. There aren't that many rich men to go around either. There are plenty of working class guys who have very attractive, pretty, high quality wives. We see it every day. So I don't think the red pill movement has accounted for that. Really, you don't know plenty of regular working and middle class dudes who have a kind, attractive wife? I do. I know lots of them. They're everywhere. Hey, Cart, he doesn't give us a context for it. Like, you know, yeah. He'll jump over next and talk about he thinks it's due to his legs being too short and he should get a leg length surgery or something, even though he's 5'10". Like, he just kind of bounces around with it. Yep. Yeah, Luke says absolutely. Most of the hottest nurses I work with have pretty average looking husbands who are working class. Yeah, and as long as he's a good, solid dude, they're usually okay with that. Do you treat her good? He dependable? Make her feel safe? Usually gets it done. Like, he works, he provides, he makes her feel safe. Yep. Yeah, I saw some of the nonsense with Liver King a little bit. Right. Okay. Let's get rid of that. I really just don't care, though, honestly. I just don't care about the Liver King. I just can't be bothered to care. I think men who don't understand that have bad taste in women. They chase girls just for being hot and nothing else, and then complain that they have bad taste in men, right? What? I've never heard that. PA Sam. I've heard women say that likes when she can see a man's spinal records in a t-shirt. Okay, I've not heard that one. Or they were teens or young 20s, right? I don't know nothing about any of that. I'm too old to remember those days. Gosh. It's been a long time since I dated a girl in her 20s, in her early 20s. That's been a lifetime ago. I don't remember what that's like. They're very immature, right? I'm not sure I believe. No, there have been some documented cases, but you'll know it's not like it does. You don't feel pain and stuff ahead of time, you know. But in theory, if you built it up with other lifts, benching and stuff, you might be able to come back later and do them just fine if you have that weakness. All right, guys. And there's probably enough cardio on this for today. I'm about to wind it down. I think that's good. So, hey, Daniel, you're clearly, I'm going to put you in timeout so you can't be annoying tomorrow. You're clearly a troll. Let's go ahead and get rid of you. So, I'll go ahead and end this for the day. I love you guys, me, and the Facebook. Notice I don't ban trolls. I just put them in timeout. But that guy is obviously a troll. All right, so I'll catch you guys tomorrow.